Let's take a look at some charts, figures, and graphs on Binance for Brave New Coin, specifically Binance Coin or BNB. So all of this analysis assumes that Binance doesn't get hit with some massive global regulatory smackdown that it appears to be currently embroiled in the middle of. Binance is an exchange, for those who are unaware, that has done nearly everything in their physical power to take over the world slowly from an exchange perspective. They have dominated volumes, they've dominated business acquisitions, they've dominated a lot of stuff over the years, which has allowed them to be positioned where they are. They've done anything in crypto imaginable. You can just see up here on the website itself, P2P lending, bots, margin, perp, futures, leverage, proof of stake stuff, NFTs they have now. So they literally have everything. They've done everything right from that perspective. But they may have flown too close to the regulatory sun, if you will, in that they got into some heat being involved in financing of unsavory individuals. So we're going to put that in a box to the side. Yes, anybody can come after them and things could go bad for their business. Hopefully the company does okay. I don't trade there anymore. I haven't traded there in a long time. I don't trust the volumes on Binance. I don't trust a lot of the iffy, wishy-washy stuff they do there. Not saying you shouldn't. I just personally don't. This is an old list at this point, but they've supported almost every fiat currency imaginable. Again, they do staking, P2P, OTC. They had a Binance card, credit card. I think they still might, depending on your jurisdiction or country. They do loans. They have ICO, IEO stuff. The biggest thing in the now is the DEX, the BSC, PancakeSwap type stuff. I think that has the biggest impact on price, other than just crypto as a whole being bullish. Binance Smart Chain, that sort of stuff. And here's a mention. This was probably the biggest thing in August, mid-August. They announced KYC requirements. They had been sort of known for lax-ish KYC requirements, and this was kind of the beginning of the end of that, when the regulators said, hey, we should probably look at this. This coincided with the pipeline ransomware stuff. There was some rumblings that the oil pipeline ransomware, that is, that the financing for that, the crypto financing stuff, ended up getting funneled to Binance. And that's going to make anybody angry. So regulators went after them, rightfully so. And regulators are still going after them, which is why they're continuing to hire all sorts of people, ex-regulators, in this case an IRS special agent from the US, to get involved in suspicious activity reporting, cyber crimes, etc. So it's not like they're not trying, but it may be too late from a regulatory perspective. But again, let's just assume everything's going to be fine. Let's assume they can buy their way out of this thing. I think just realizing the breadth and the scope for people like me who aren't really involved in the day-to-day Binance stuff, specifically on Binance Smart Chain. This is an older list. This is from March, and it was like this. I hadn't heard of most of this stuff. I still don't know what most of this stuff is. Doesn't really matter. There are people who use crypto for the first time through PancakeSwap, through BSC. I don't know how they find it. I have no idea how these people find this stuff. They've never touched crypto in their life, but they know about BSC. They know what's on there, where to buy it. They know it's cheap. That's great for BSC. It's just a mystery to me as far as how new people get connected to that so early. Maybe it's through Binance US or Binance something. I have no idea. Here's the TVL infographic. This is older, again, in September, but just to give you an idea, Solana may have overtaken this by now, but BSC has a massive TVL, even relative to Ethereum. And you can see all the other chains here. So it kind of goes Ethereum, BSC, Solana, Terra, Polygon, Avalanche, Tron. I don't really consider Tron to be a real thing, but it's in the mix, I guess. We can look at TVL by category for BSC. This is from Coin98 Analytics. They do a great weekly DeFi report, but the total TVL has grown slightly since August, up around 20 billion currently. Most of that is on DEXs and lending, with some other stuff mixed in there. And DEX daily active users, PancakeSwap is by far and away the number one DEX in everything that's measured here, mainly on ETH. So again, that's just another way to say the public has arrived and has found PancakeSwap in some way. I don't know how, but they're there. So to me, that's bullish for BNB, because a lot of the stuff is denominated in BNB or has a BNB involvement. So the more people we can see funneled into this thing, the better the token will probably be. Here's just the NFT stuff. This is from September again. This is older. It's changed, I'm sure. buyer beware, etc., but all this stuff exists on Binance. Binance also does token burns every quarter, and the burns have gotten bigger and bigger over the years, but even since Q1 2021 or Q1 2020, we're just ramping, and then 2021 has just been an insane year for volumes on Binance. So the more the volume, or the bigger the volumes, the bigger the burn. And this was their biggest burn ever in Q3, which was, I thought was going to be lower than Q2, but it ended up being their biggest burn ever, which just shows you how out of touch I am with Binance anything. But so they burned 640 million thereabouts USD value of BNB, and that's just tokens out of circulating supply. And they're going to be burning, I think it's 25% of the total circulating eventually, something like that. But they got a ways to go on that. So this is going to continue for quite some time. Is it enough to move the needle price-wise? Fundamentally, maybe. People see the burns and they know that price should be bullish because that's what buyback programs do, is if you're taking stuff out of circulation. Generally, that's a bullish side effect. Just looking at BSC a little further, daily active transactions, or daily transactions rather, very near all-time highs, massively bullish. Pending transactions even spiked on Binance Smart Chain a few days ago. That's down since then. And unique active addresses just continues to increase. So it's hard to be bearish on what you're seeing on the chain, assuming all this stuff is real. Binance has a history of goosing stuff a little bit. Volume's a little higher than physically possible. So it wouldn't surprise me if there's some shenanigans going on here, some double counting or whatever. But collectively, it's hard to argue this stuff is anything but bullish. And if we look at Google Trends for Binance Coin worldwide since 2017, Google Trends haven't really picked up yet. So if anything, this makes me more bullish on the token, because you saw all of this insanity when we were previously at these levels, and currently we're just kind of normalizing price. We haven't exploded in Google Trends just yet. Generally, how this works is if you're at all-time highs with Google Trends, you're probably very close to all-time highs in price. And we can see that on Shiba, for instance. This is one I like pulling up recently because it was so insane. Past 12 months worldwide. This isn't the dog here. This is definitely the crypto token. And that hit an all-time high almost the same week that I think the price did, if not the very same week. Moving on to technicals. This is the 1-year MA multiplier. Anything below this green line is below the 1-year MA, and that is a buy zone. Anything above the 5x multiple is a sell. And not only that, but it gives you sort of a roadmap for where this could go. Currently, it's pointing to 1500. That's going to move up slowly over time. So if we're as bullish in the future as we were in January, February, March, April, if we're that bullish again, we will hit that level because that is the 5x multiple of the 1-year MA. So I really don't think that's completely out of the question. The big hurdle next is whether or not we get through the midline. For a lot of charts on backtesting, that's also an important level to watch. Once we get through the midline, we typically do reach for the multiplier. Currently the midline's around 900, I think. So that looks good to me. All systems go for additional upside. This is the 5200 EMA, VP, VR, Fibs, volume, and RSI. The first thing that's a bit weird to me is that volume is so low here on the exchange. So I don't know if it's truly all DEX volume that's pushing this, or it's just not registering on the exchange side of things. I don't know, but it's definitely a bit weird to see price very near all-time highs and volume kind of just unexcited, flat. RSI is picking up here. What you don't want to see is a bear div on any higher high. You're probably going to see that eventually, but until you get multi-month momentum declines, it's probably not the top. It's probably an interim top, local top, but not the top. The fibs are telling you if you take the high to the low or some low, right? Pick whatever you want. Pick this low, pick this low, pick this low, use Wix, pick this low, I don't care. Pick something. It gives you a target around 1,000 as far as the next move to the upside. And a lot of charts in crypto and even legacy look like this, where they've consolidated for multiple months and are just ready to lift off. So in the near term, I definitely like that target. The cloud says, be careful up here. We're starting to get a TKC clamp as price kind of stalls out at this level. Maybe the best case if you're not in yet, I don't trade this, so I'm not in, but I don't have any bias one way or the other. But if I was looking to get in and I wasn't, I would either be buying the highs, the breakout, or hoping for some sort of cup and handle with a bid around 500, 550. The Kijun is currently at 500. Tenkin is currently 570. So ideally, you're buying somewhere in there with the assumption that this thing is going to have a bullish continuation leg beyond 650. So the cloud is just telling you the safest way to play this right now is to set bids at around 500 because this is setting up for momentumless price action after a very strong move up. So Cloud says, be careful here, slightly overbought. BNB BTC didn't end up breaking down. I thought it was going to be kind of Adam and Eve here below the 200-day moving average. It's outperformed BTC in the past couple days. We'll see if that lasts. You could argue some sort of inverted head and shoulders, shoulder, shoulder, head, shoulder, shoulder. I don't know. Something here. Trend metrics like it. It's still way above its yearly pivots, way above volume support. Ultimately, I like 400K or 004 against BTC as like a price target retracement area. Previous all-time high plus volume support down there. No bear divs just yet. So this thing looks fine. It just doesn't look exciting. But trend metrics plus this pattern suggests continuation. BNB ETH also is just a giant mess of a chart. This I thought was going to break down harder than it did or more than it did. Hasn't broken down yet. Maybe you could argue a diamond bottom something here. I don't know. This is very, very sloppy looking price action. Tons of support on every level on the way down. You can just see the stairs on the way down on the volume here. I think on trend it's a bunch of nothing, but you are getting a potential bullish 5200 cross over the next couple days. So if BNB can survive regulators, the token's probably going to be fine, right? It's probably going to be fine on USD. It's probably going to be fine on BTC pair, ETH pair. All that's going to be fine. Fundamentally, it's getting more and more people using their products than they ever have, at least on the DEX side of things. Their DEX isn't really a DEX because it's basically controlled by Binance. So that's something else that people who are deep in crypto understand, but people who are new to crypto, who are using it for the first time, they don't either know or they don't care, right? They're just seeing it's cheap to access. I can trade here as a retail individual, much cheaper than ETH or most other chains. Lastly, I'll just mention the ETH-BTC fund and DeFi portfolio. I trade for Techemy Capital and Enzyme Finance, a non-custodial portfolio management tool where you can send ETH or USDC or just watch what I'm doing. You can see everything, including AUM performance, allocation, all the vaults I'm in here on Yearn, Comp, and Aave, as well as the trades in the trades tab down below. That's all for this one. Like, dislike, comment, share, subscribe, and happy trading.